Bombing Iran won't work. That's the warning from Trump's own former defense secretary. As Washington weighs even bigger strikes, Mark Esper says military force alone won't reopen the Strait of Hormuz. His message? Hit Iran's economy, or prepare for a much longer conflict. Donald Trump's former defense secretary has warned that the US will not win its war against Iran through aerial bombardment and must instead strangle the Islamic Republic's economy to force it to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The remarks came after the US launched more strikes on Iran, and Trump said he would step up the attacks in the coming weeks to force the Islamic Republic into a deal. However, Mark Esper, who served as US Defense Secretary during Trump's first term, told the Financial Times that this strategy would not change Iran's stance or its determination to keep control of the strait.
I'm not confident that if we picked up the bombing the way we did months ago and sustained it for a period of time, that would have a big change.
Trump this month declared his short-lived ceasefire with Iran to be over after claiming Iran violated a memorandum of understanding with the US to allow free maritime traffic through the strait while the warring parties negotiated a longer-term settlement. The renewed hostilities threatened to plunge the Middle East back into crisis and trigger a fresh inflationary shock across the global economy. Vessels had traveled freely through the waterway, a sea lane that carries about 20% of the world's oil before the US and Israel launched their war on Iran. Tehran largely closed the strait following the attack, and traffic remains at a fraction of its pre-conflict level. Esper, speaking to an audience of national security experts in Aspen, said the Trump administration should apply comprehensive economic pressure to resolve the Hormuz dispute, which has driven up fuel prices around the world.
How do you pressure them? One option is you resort to full military onslaught. The other one is you strangle them economically. But this would require time, patience, and discipline, as well as international support to be effective. And the cost for us is going to be higher gas prices for a while.
Earlier, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing US officials, that Trump is leaning towards expanding US military operations in Iran after days of briefings from top aides. Officials told the Journal that the options include stepping up airstrikes, sending ground forces to seize Iranian islands near the Strait of Hormuz, and bombing the fortified Pickaxe Mountain site that could be used for covert nuclear work, the latter of which Trump has publicly mused about doing in recent days. In the hours before the meeting, Trump told Fox News that the US may strike bridges and power stations next week, adding that he would save the energy targets for last, but would ultimately hit them. The United States appears to be preparing for another major escalation with Iran, as President Donald Trump signaled that Pickaxe Mountain, a highly secretive underground nuclear-linked site near Natanz, could soon become America's next military target. Speaking to conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt on July 13th, Trump warned that the US military would intensify its campaign against Iran over the coming days.
We're going to hit them very hard tonight, and we're going to hit them hard tomorrow. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. They have nothing. They have nothing going on other than they have big mouths.
Trump also singled out Pickaxe Mountain, a deeply buried tunnel complex located near Iran's main Natanz nuclear facility. Unlike Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan, the site was not targeted during last year's US strikes and has never been inspected by the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Pickaxe is a possible target for a nice, big, fat shot right near the front door. We see no activity there. They're not doing well with their nuclear situation. We'll probably give Pickaxe a shot relatively soon.
Trump's remarks came as US Central Command confirmed a third consecutive night of strikes against Iranian military targets, while Iran claimed retaliatory attacks on Bahrain, Jordan, and 2 Emirati oil tankers, with reports indicating 1 crew member was killed and 8 others injured. Satellite imagery released earlier this month showed construction work and vehicle movement at Pickaxe Mountain. According to the Institute for Science and International Security, activity has continued since April, when a ceasefire was declared in the US-Israel conflict with Iran. The think tank argues that any work at the facility violates the Memorandum of Understanding signed between Washington and Tehran. However, Trump has dismissed the significance of that agreement, saying the memorandum should never have preceded a final agreement.
It's a standard tactic in the US that you go to a memorandum of understanding and then you go to the deal. I said, just go to the deal first. It does not mean very much because the US was dealing with dishonorable sleazebags who did not adhere to its terms.
Tehran has rejected Washington's position, insisting the same memorandum recognized Iran's authority over the Strait of Hormuz and supported its right to regulate maritime traffic through the strategic waterway. With Washington openly threatening another strike on one of Iran's most secretive nuclear-linked facilities, the confrontation is entering an increasingly unpredictable phase, raising fresh concerns about a wider conflict across the Gulf. The United States has launched another wave of strikes against Iran, targeting military infrastructure across the country as tensions over the Strait of Hormuz continue to escalate, while fresh satellite imagery is raising new concerns over the security of Iran's nuclear facilities. According to US Central Command, American forces carried out coordinated attacks on dozens of targets on July 12th using fighter aircraft, naval vessels, one-way attack aerial drones, and, for the first time, one-way attack sea drones.
US Central Command completed a new wave of offensive strikes against Iran July 12th, hitting dozens of targets at multiple locations with precision munitions to degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking international shipping flowing through the Strait of Hormuz.
CENTCOM said the strikes targeted Iran's military capabilities linked to operations around the strategic waterway.
CENTCOM forces struck Iranian military air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missile and drone capabilities, and small boats using US fighter aircraft, naval vessels, one-way attack aerial drones, and one-way attack sea drones for the first time. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital maritime corridor for global trade. Iran does not control it.
As the strikes unfolded, satellite imagery analyzed by Egypt's Intel Observer indicated that a building inside Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant complex was destroyed, only meters from the facility's operating reactor. The damaged structure appears to be part of the construction area for 2 additional reactors. This comes after CNN, citing satellite analysis by the Institute for Science and International Security, reported signs that Iran may be rebuilding parts of its nuclear infrastructure damaged in previous attacks. Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, meanwhile, dismissed reports of a US strike on the Bushehr nuclear power plant, confirming that the facility is fully intact.
The plant is operating under safe, stable, and normal conditions, with all units and facilities functioning normally.
The Iranian Students' News Agency, citing Bushehr Governor Mohammad Mozaffari, reported that 10 US strikes targeted 4 sites in the southern province, with no casualties documented. Located on Iran's Gulf Coast, Bushehr is the country's first and largest nuclear power plant. It was built with Russian technical assistance. The developments have renewed attention to a warning issued in 2025 by IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi, who cautioned that any direct strike on Bushehr could trigger a major radiological disaster requiring evacuations across hundreds of kilometers, including parts of neighboring Gulf states. Meanwhile, footage aired by Irib News showed a massive fire engulfing a destroyed hangar at Omidyeh Airport in Iran's southwestern Khuzestan province. Local officials said 4 locations across Omidyeh and Mashhad were struck by US projectiles shortly after 1:45 a.m. local time. Iran responded by announcing a new round of retaliatory operations against US military facilities across the Gulf. The IRGC said it targeted the Prince Hassan airbase in Jordan with missiles and drones, setting fire to several fuel depots and ammunition storage facilities. In a statement, the IRGC said the attack was the first phase of its response to US strikes on Iranian coastal military bases. Bahrain's Interior Ministry has said sirens have been sounded again, warning people to remain calm and head to the nearest safe place. The warning came as the IRGC claimed it had launched the second phase of its retaliation against Bahrain's Sheikh Issa Air Base, saying it struck helicopter maintenance facilities, a hangar housing a P-8 Maritime Patrol aircraft, and a US drone command and control center. The IRGC also claimed its aerospace forces had completely destroyed fuel storage tanks and Patriot air defense systems at Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait, along with a strategic FPS radar system at Ahmed Al Jaber Air Base, calling it the third phase of its Eye for an Eye operation.